There's getting to be a lot of Ethereum killers out there these days. Which one is going to kill Ethereum?
Seemingly out of nowhere, there's this new thing called Solana, right? It just dethroned Dogecoin in market cap. Um, and some people are actually calling it an ETH killer. I don't know about you, but I saw it just surged over $200 just yesterday. And it was only like 66 bucks a couple weeks ago. So I want to know, is this Solana thing a scam or is it not a scam? And if it's not a scam, is it a good thing for crypto? Dean, what's your take?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, so I don't know a ton about Solana. Of course, what happened was it shot up, and all of a sudden, everyone's talking about it. So I didn't really know much. I have seen the symbol around in the past, but I didn't really know much about it before now. And I did watch a video or two yesterday because of all the activity. So as you said, it's billed as an Ethereum killer. And what's interesting is that there's getting to be a lot of Ethereum killers out there these days. Which one is going to kill Ethereum?
Yeah, right?
Um, or will any of them kill Ethereum? Uh, but apparently, so this is what I know about it. And even though this is all I know about it, because I understand this framework from uh, past knowledge and learning, I can apply it to now, which is this. So, so clearly, one of the major problems with Ethereum is that it has high gas fees, right? That's
Right.
that's the complaint, and that's why all these Ethereum killers keep coming out because the gas fees are too high. The gas fees. So then they introduce this other one. It's like, look, this one's going to have lower gas fees, but in nearly every case, the way so the balancing trick with crypto is balancing security, speed, and fees. And apparently no one, it may not even be able to be figured out, or maybe someday they will, but to have a good rating on all three of those. So apparently what Solana gives up is it can't be as decentralized as Ethereum. And I'm sure probably most people who are buying Solana aren't aware of that. Okay, it will have lower fees, but it will be less decentralized than Ethereum. So you're going to be giving that up. And I really think decentralization has got to be. I mean, it's got to be maybe the most important component of crypto. Isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? I mean, there are other points that are important points, sure, but come on, man, it's got to be decentralized. So if I'm paying fewer fees, but it's less decentralized, for me, I don't know if that's a good enough trade-off. So that's where I'm at with Solana. So I'd love to hear your take on it.
Okay, well, very, very interesting. I must say, great take on it, Dean. Um, I think it's kind of cool. This new thing that I just heard about called proof of history, right? So there's proof of work, there's proof of stake, which Ethereum is actually moving from proof of work to proof of stake in the Ethereum 2.0, right? So this guy who is the founder of Solana came up with this idea of proof of history. From a technical standpoint, it's pretty cool because what it does is um, it helps with the servers where they're making consensus. Instead of them having to dig back and roll back into history, all they have to look at is a timestamp that gets handed over to them. And that timestamp tells them, hey, okay, this is legit. I now can make consensus, and now I can have a lightning fast transaction. There's no miners involved in that process. It's a fully consensus oriented thing, and it happens in lightning fast speed. So I think that's actually kind of a cool new take on consensus, right? So we've had proof of work, we've had proof of stake, and now we have this thing called proof of history. Um, as you mentioned, it's going to be a lot cheaper. So if there's not the gas fees that ETH has, it's kind of a cool alternative. It's not the only game in town. I really liked what you said about all these ETH killers that are out there. Um, it's going to be hard to dethrone ETH, in my opinion. One of the things that I think about the Solana is it's very immature, but it is picking up steam. one of the things that's very interesting about it, it's got the backing of the FTX founder, and he's spending a ton of money marketing this Solana, a ton of money. So in fact, so much so, are you familiar with Lollapalooza that happens in Chicago every year, every summer?
Sure, of
There
course.
was a Solana stage. It was the Solana stage. That's the kind of money he's throwing. It's just a ridiculous amount of money. So the founder of FTX, I think his name is Bankman-Fried, he actually has been throwing a ton of cash at it to make it successful. So the other thing that we're seeing is other big finance is actually backing as well. Andreessen Capital, I'm sure you've heard of them, right?
Sure. Yep.
Biggest one in Silicon Valley. They just funded over $300 million in DeFi projects on the Solana platform. So that gives it some real legs when you've got that kind of money and that kind of development effort going into it. So at the end of it all, I do have a lot more to say about it, but I want to keep it brief. I do think that the price of it being $200 right now is really incredible. So I would actually ask the question, would I buy it today? Personally, it's kind of come out of nowhere. It's kind of launched. It's kind of gone really ballistic, hyper ballistic overnight. I don't think I'm going to buy it right now, even though I think it's really interesting to watch in my portfolio. So the question then is,
Wait, so you do own some already?
no, I wish I did.
Uh,
I actually, it's one of the ones I checked all my portfolios. I'm like, oh crap, I do not own Solana. So, no, I don't. But if I were going to buy Solana, I don't think I would buy it at its current price. I think it's just
yeah.
it shot up like a rocket in the last few weeks, and it probably is due to cool off a little bit. So
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, you just never want to chase a pump. I mean, as great as it might sound, and sometimes it works out, but strategically, it usually ends up crushing you if you start chasing pumps.
yeah, exactly. So I have an opinion on what I want to do if whether or not I think Solana is a good thing for crypto. I want you to go ahead and reveal yours first.
So yeah, so the question is overall is, do I think Solana is good for crypto? Um, I gotta tell you, just based on just based on the little bit I know, it might sound great right now. It might sound interesting and exciting, and the price is going up. But you know what, man? I'm gonna give this one a thumbs down. Actually, I think in the long term, it's not gonna work out.
Yeah. Okay. And I think it's interesting because I have a slightly different take than you do, and it goes back to the thing you said right in the beginning of the video. I think that there's a lot of things that are coming after ETH. And I think that pressure is actually good to put on Ethereum and other things like Cardano and other altcoins that are out there. And the reason for that is because it causes innovation. The thing I talked about, proof of history, that's an innovative thing. And that is something that other blockchains may start to pick up. So that pressure and that competition creates innovation and creates things that we've never seen before. I mean, look at Ethereum this year burning half of its gas fees. That's because they had to, and that's from competition. So I'm giving Solana a thumbs up, not to Solana itself, but the fact that I think it still answers the question for me that it's good for crypto because I think it puts pressure on the existing system to innovate. And that's
Well,
my take on it.
I do like that take, and proof of history is really interesting, and it'll be pretty cool to see how that new technology continues into the future. So we'll be keeping our eye on that. And to the viewer, if you found this information useful, consider subscribing to catch our further updates as we move along. And if you found this video useful, please give us a thumbs up because it really helps out the channel. So we'll see you next time, and I'll talk to you later, Gary. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.